we're sitting here today with Onofrio Zakari.
Right.
Did I say it right?
Right.
Good.
Right.
Nick, they call him Nolo.
They call me Nono for the nickname. Right.
Now, you're a 96-year-old
96.
World War II veteran.
World War II veteran.
He's sharper than Marcel and I put together. But when we first met was at the Purple Heart Club.
I was at the Purple Heart
Yep.
Club, yeah.
And some of the quick stories you told me, you were at Normandy,
Normandy,
Battle of the Bulge.
Battle of the Bulge.
Can you tell a few stories about that? Let's talk about Normandy.
Normandy. I was with the 5th Amphibian Brigade. It's an outfit that carries ducks. It goes in in the water, on land. And we landed at Normandy, the 5th wave. We lost all our ducks during the invasion, so we had to land on foot. And all we carried in was a carbine. That's all we had. We didn't have no M1s. We had carbines. And we landed just behind the combat engineers. I don't know what, I think it was the 129. Anyway, the 29th Ranger Battalion were the first wave, I guess. They were pretty well wiped out. But we were the 5th wave. And we landed of course we landed with water up to our neck. And made it to the shore. And just from there we went on to inland. That's how we kept saying, we gotta go in, we gotta go in, we gotta go in. And then we did.
How far inland did you make
Oh, we didn't, not the first night. The first night we didn't get too far. We just got over the dunes into the, maybe about half a mile or so, And we had to dig in because night was coming in. And that night was awful. I mean, it was just barrages of shells from the ships out in the channel. And that's why I sort of leery on 4th of July every time.
Oh, sure.
Every time I see that at night, it gives me flashbacks on the 4th.
Now, you told me, when you first came in, was there a lot of gunfire and bombs and mortars?
Yeah, a lot of mortars. We were pinned down pretty well. But I was scared. Man, I was scared.
How old were you, Nono?
I just turned 21. And, I was afraid. Wasn't scared of dying. I mean, I was in a state of grace. I don't know if you're a Catholic or not, but I was in a state of grace, and it didn't bother me too much about dying, but I was scared.
Oh, sure.
I was scared, man. Everybody was scared. Didn't know what to do. It was just chaos. I mean, some of the officers took command, of course, and we did what they told us to do. We did it, that's all.
Now, you made it in about a mile. I mean,
Yeah.
between the time you got off to that mile.
Well, it
had
took
to
us
be-
almost all day to get there.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, almost all day to get there.
Wow.
But it was,
How many did you lose?
really, I mean, this was, we landed on this US 90, in fact, I got pictures of it, of the ship that I landed on. It was knocked out. It had a couple of direct hits from an 88, or from a pillbox. And we only lost one man. The last man got off that boat was killed. He was the last one off. And there was the 2 sailors got killed, and one from my company got killed. Don Simmons, his name was, and he was killed. And then from there we all scattered. I mean, we didn't know what to do.
Sure.
Our officers were gone. We didn't know. I didn't see my commanding officer for almost 2 days.
Okay.
I mean, it was just chaos. But the other officers took over, and we just went on ahead.
Now, compare that, what you went through at Normandy, to the Battle of the Bulge.
Well, from Normandy right up to St. Lo, I don't remember anything. I just forgot everything.
Just a blur.
Yes, just a blur. I don't know anything. How I ate, what I ate, or hell, I didn't take a shower for 2 years almost. I mean, we just lived off a canteen, you know. And let's see, I forgot, what was it, about almost 6, 7 months later, when the 102 was surrounded in Bastogne, and they needed volunteers from every company. And so I volunteered, my buddy volunteered, we both volunteered to go. You know, volunteer, you and you.
Yeah, yeah, you volunteered.
We need 2 volunteers, you and you know. But so we went there, but thank God Patton broke through, and we didn't see no action. But we had to round up all the prisoners and force march them to, maybe about 20 miles to a warehouse in Bastogne, and snow, cold, snow, wet. And we housed the German prisoners, fed them, booked them down, and we had to stand and guard outside in the snow.
While they were inside
While
warm.
they were inside getting warm.
That makes
you know,
sense.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that's where I got my frozen, frostbitten. My feet were frostbitten in that time. And after that, the war ended. I was in Marseille, France. We were a displaced soldier. We had no outfits, me and Nicky. We had no outfit. So we were called displaced soldiers. So we were put from one company to another company, one company. So that went on for about 6 months. And we were put in displacement camps. They were called Lucky Strike, Chesterfield, Camel.
After cigarettes, huh?
Yeah, after cigarettes. And they were all where they put all the displaced soldiers there.
Okay.
And then I was discharged about, 6 months later.
When were you hit? Or
We-
what was surrounding the time you were injured?
Well, that was when I, after we landed, me and Frank Floriano, we were together. We were pinned down.
So you're in the Italian group.
You know, speaking of that, do you know my group was all Polish and Italians. And they were all from New York, Central New York.
Yeah.
All from Rochester, Syracuse, Buffalo, Niagara Falls, Utica. They were all from upstate New York. They were all Italians and Polish.
That was in Browntown where my grandmother was. You were either Italian or Polish.
Yeah,
And it was the
right,
whole-
right. So Frank and I were pinned down, and that's where I lost the hearing in my ear. One shell landed pretty close to me, and the concussion just got to me. So I got up from there, and this 88, this pillbox, had us pinned down, and so I tried to find a safe place, and I got behind a landing craft. And I was up against the landing craft, and a couple of shells came in. One landed, and the shrapnel ricocheted off of the landing craft and hit me in the knee and in the shoulder. I had 2 of them. I got one in the shoulder, one in the knee. And I thought, man, I'm going home, you know. But then I looked over and I seen this GI. He was sitting on his helmet, and he was holding his guts like this. And he was a redhead. Never forget his face. He had the reddest hair you want to see. And he was holding his guts like this. He says, I'm going home, I'm going home, I'm going home. I don't know if he ever made it. But he was so excited. He's holding his guts like this. And he says, I'm going home. I said, oh boy. Then I reached over and I said, maybe I'm going home too, but I didn't. I didn't make it.
Now you got treated right there on the spot, right?
No,
by a medic?
no, it was a little later.
Okay.
As we got inland, I was bleeding pretty good. And the medics from Company B came down, saw the wound, he patched me up, and he says, you'll be okay, don't worry about it. So I said, all right. He said, you going to go back to the ship? I said, no. I said, I'll stay with my company, you know. So no, I said, I'll stay. So then he left, he was killed just about, half an hour later, he was killed. Him and another guy were killed.
The medic.
The medic was, yeah. I couldn't get him to back me up on my injury, you know.
So you qualified, because this is what you were talking about in the meeting. You qualified for a Purple Heart clearly, but because the medic died and couldn't fill out the forms on you, there's no proof.
There's no proof. Just other than my commanding officer wrote a notarized statement that I was injured. All 3 buddies of mine all notarized that I was injured. Anyway, I forgot about that. I forgot about the Purple Heart. No
Well, we're not going to. Come on, Washington. Let's take care of this gentleman. This is a war hero right here.
No.
Let's do the right thing.
So, but like I said, well, another thing that was really got to me, and it still does to this day, was when we were 2 days later. They wanted us to go back and clean up the beach with the soldiers' equipment and the dead soldiers. We went back there, and I said, I'm not picking up nobody. I said, I'll pick up the equipment, whatever we have to get, throw it on the truck, get it off the way. Because we had new troops coming in. And you see all these, that, you know, it's discouraging. So we were loading them, the guys were taking the bodies, just loading them up on the truck. Father Flanagan, standing there, tears coming down his eyes, giving the last rites. You know, I just choke up just thinking about it. Sure. Yeah, he said, you lay my boys down right. You don't throw them up there, you pick them up, you lay them down.
Good.
And that's it. Hell, every time I think of it, I sort of choke up on it. Anyway, they get the body, they bring them up on the hill, the temporary cemetery there. And that was it. But that's one thing that stuck in my mind with Father Flanagan, saying his last rites for these poor guys that never made it.
Wow.
All right, thanks, No. Let's.
Well, no, thank you again.
Right.
It's an honor. Absolutely, thank you.
This keeps me out of the casinos.
You made all this.
Yeah, I made this is all scrap wood. Everything's all scrap wood. There's nothing. The only thing I buy is probably the axles for the wheels. But
So you got train. You do trains, and these are elaborate birdhouses.
Birdhouses, yeah.
Bird mansions.
They're duplex.
Just amazing.
Tin Men.
We got the Tin family. There's
Tin
baby,
Baby.
I love the smell of
Mama.
this. It's the smell of fresh cut
and
wood.
there's Dad.
There's Papa.
Now, you were telling us that you were a shoemaker, not a shoemaker,
Yeah.
a shoe repair,
Repair,
but
right,
your
right.
father was a shoemaker.
Right.
And you kept one of his machines back here.
This one over here. I kept it just for the sanding bit of it and the vacuum. I have a vacuum back there. And of course I kept the brushes to shine my shoes all the time. I didn't want to do it by hand, so I used the machine to span them.